Look at that. Water dripping into a bucket. Right now. No pipe, no well, no rain in 4 days. Nothing but a $12 frame sitting in my backyard overnight. That's drinking water pulled straight out of the air. And before you tell me that sounds insane, you already know this works. You've seen it your entire life. You just never connected the dots. That's condensation on your cold glass on a humid afternoon. That's dew on the grass every single morning before the sun gets high. That's a spider web doing something that a $3,000 commercial water generator tries to replicate with a compressor, a fan, and a monthly power bill. The air around you right now is carrying water. Invisible, suspended, just waiting to touch something cold enough to let go of it. There's a temperature called the dew point. When air hits a surface at or below that temperature, the moisture in it has nowhere left to go but out. It condenses, turns liquid, starts to drip. What you're building is just a large surface for that handoff to happen on, angled into the wind so air moves through it, tilted so gravity pulls every drop down into a collection trough below. No moving parts, no electricity, no maintenance. You set it up before bed, and it works while you sleep. Here's what actually gets me about this. The atmosphere holds roughly 37 million billion gallons of fresh water at any given moment. That's more than every river on Earth combined, just floating there, everywhere, all the time. And almost nobody is collecting it. The Incas built stone structures specifically designed to pull water from mountain fog. Fog nets have been harvesting water in the Canary Islands for generations. There are Bronze Age structures in the Negev Desert that archaeologists now believe were dew collectors, built not to hold water, but to produce it. This knowledge is thousands of years old. And somewhere in the last 100 years, when indoor plumbing became normal and the tap just worked, we stopped thinking about it, stopped teaching it. The knowledge sat on a shelf and gathered dust. $12 and one afternoon, and it's back in your hands. Here's everything you need. And I want you to actually look at this list. Shade cloth mesh, 6 by 6 feet, the kind at any garden center or hardware store. About $5. Get the tightest weave you can find, closer to a window screen than a volleyball net. The mesh is doing all the real work, so don't cheap out on the weave. 4 sections of 1-inch PVC pipe to build your frame. $2, maybe less if you scrap it. Zip ties. You've got some in a drawer somewhere. A plastic gutter section for the collection trough. $3 to $4 at any hardware store. A few bricks or rocks to prop the frame at the right angle. That's $10 to $14 all in. If you already have zip ties and bricks, you're at $8. No special tools, no permit, no contractor, nothing that requires anyone's permission to build. The frame goes together first, 4 PVC sections into a rectangle, roughly 4 feet tall, 3 feet wide. You're not building furniture. It just needs to hold its shape and take some wind without falling over. Zip tie the corners if you don't want to deal with fittings. It holds fine. Now stretch the mesh over the frame and pull it tight. 0 sag. Zip tie it every 6 inches along every single edge. Think about how a drum is made. That same tension across the whole surface. Because sagging mesh means water pools instead of running off. Pooling means slower collection. And slower collection means you wake up with almost nothing. Here's the one mistake everybody makes the first time. They lay it flat on the ground. Don't do that. Flat means the water pools on top, evaporates when the sun comes up, and you collect almost nothing. You want it tilted 15 to 30 degrees, like leaning it against a wall at a shallow angle. That way, every droplet that forms rolls downhill on its own, hits the bottom edge, and drips straight into the trough waiting below it. I set the gutter section directly under that lower edge. If you want to run tubing from the trough into a storage container, go ahead. But it's not required to see this work on the first night. Placement matters more than most people think. Face it into the wind, not sideways, not away from it. You want air moving through the mesh, not around it. Walk around your yard at dusk and feel which direction the breeze is coming from. That's where the front of the frame points. Get it off the ground. Even a foot makes a real difference. Air at ground level is warmer and drier than air just a little higher up. And keep it away from wherever the morning sun hits first. You want the dew to build through the entire night and still be sitting in that trough when you come out to collect it. Not burned off before you wake up. Set it up before sunset. Come back at dawn, that's the whole routine. Here's what's actually going on while you sleep. As the temperature drops, the air cools down when it hits the mesh surface. When it crosses the dew point, the moisture has nowhere left to go. It condenses out, forms a droplet. That droplet finds another one sitting nearby. They merge, get heavier, and gravity does the rest, rolling down into the trough. By morning, you've got something for nothing. My first night running one of these, average humidity, temperatures in the mid-50s, no fog, no rain. I collected just over half a liter, which sounds modest until you consider those were about as average conditions as you can get. Nothing special about that night at all. In humid climates, coastal areas, river valleys, anywhere that sees morning fog, people are pulling a liter, 2 liters, sometimes more from a setup this size in a single night. Scale the mesh up to 10 by 10 feet, and now you're talking serious daily water production. From something you built on a Saturday afternoon with parts from one hardware store run. A family of 4 needs about 2 liters of drinking water per person per day. Scale this right in the right climate, and you're covering that entirely from air. No bills, no infrastructure, no asking anyone's permission. Now let's talk about actually drinking it. Atmospheric water is cleaner than most people expect. It hasn't touched the ground, hasn't run through soil or pipes, so it skips most of what makes surface water complicated. Bacteria, agricultural runoff, sediment. But it can pick up particulates from the mesh over time, or trace pollutants if you're near traffic or industry. The fix takes 5 minutes and costs $3. Take a plastic bottle, cut the bottom off, flip it upside down so the neck points down. Layer materials inside from bottom to top. Cotton first, then activated charcoal from any aquarium store, then fine sand, then a final layer of cotton at the top. Pour your collected water through from the top. Let it drip out the neck into a clean container below. That's your filter. It handles particulates, absorbs most chemical concerns, and adds about a minute to your morning routine. If you want to be completely sure, boil it. Or add 1 drop of plain unscented household bleach per liter. Wait 30 minutes and it's as clean as treated tap water. Probably cleaner, actually, depending on where you live. Free water from the air, filtered in 5 minutes for a one-time cost of $12. Stay. I don't know why you're watching this. Maybe you're thinking about what happens if the water bill triples. Maybe you're already off-grid and this fills a real gap. Maybe you found this at 2 in the morning because you were curious and couldn't sleep. Doesn't matter. The knowledge that got buried when indoor plumbing made everyone comfortable, it's still here. Still works. Always will. Now you have it. Take care. See you in the next one.